there's a statement, let's say you run into the Course of Miracles or something, and in a lot of places, there's a statement that this is dreaming or a dream, the idea of Maya, Maya, an illusion, which is an active illusion. Yes, it's illusory. It appears to be something to us that it isn't actually. So therefore, we are the source of the illusion of it. Yes, as there's a statement in another thing from a guy, we are the ones who manufactured the illusion that we think we're in, so to speak. So one good way of looking at to have a sense of dreaming right now and here is that there's a subjective experience. So everyone here is in the same living room, but they have a different experience, let's say, of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So that obviously means that there isn't a real place. The place is secondary to the one who's in the place, because you give it the meaning it has. It's not giving you the meaning it has, unless you take yourself to be the dreamt. And then at that point, everything that you're dreaming has the ability to affect you. Yes, it's beautiful if you want to hear it. So subjective experience, obviously, in a subjective experience, you are giving whatever you're experiencing the meaning. Yes.
Yes.
Like you are the one who's having the experience. And more than having it, you're giving the meaning that it brings about. Okay? So here's the Course in Miracles. It says, you and I are the dreaming of the dream. So you could say that's a subjective demonstration. Yeah, we forget that we're dreaming. Wow, this is pretty good. How do we forget that we're dreaming? Maybe by being in the act of being identified as the dreamt. Yeah. And what happens when the dreaming takes itself to be the dreamt? Everything it's dreaming now has the ability to affect it. Yeah, beautiful, isn't it? Really, if you see it. So the dreaming would be the invulnerability to the dreamt. If there was a clear awareness of the dreaming, you would have an invulnerability to be affected by the dreamt as much as you are. Yes? But because we take ourselves to be the dreamt, that, let's say, superpower is seemingly lost, and now everything we're dreaming has the ability to bite us in the manufactured ass. Yeah. So this is subjective experience, and subjective experience obviously is appointed to this is a dream. Yeah. This is dreaming, because if there was a reality, the reality of that thing would impose itself on you. Yeah. Now I had a huge experience of it after getting run over. I came to after about a week or something, and I was in a ward in a hospital, which was like the orthopedic ward or whatever it is. And people who had very severe damage physically were in there. Yeah. And then as we sat alone in our little 6 by 3 foot world, they realized these people should talk to each other because of what's happened, and they're similar. So then we would talk to some of the other patients, and you would see that we had very similar damage to the body, but our reactions were quite different. So our subjective experience and how we reacted to it was quite different. So some people who never drank started to drink. Yeah. Some people who drank swore off drinking. Yeah. So you would think that that trauma would produce the same effect. Now it did on the bones and everything, but this is a subjective experience. So the subjective experience, not just the physical one, was quite different for each person. What does that point to? That this is dreaming. Yeah. And it helps if, while you're seemingly in it and taking it to be real, to hear these little ideas, because they may bring you some relief as you travel through this place. Yeah. So I have that shirt. It's super serious, but it's what is it? It's hopeless. It's hopeless, but it's not that serious. So that sounds, it's very strange, because you would imagine hopelessness would be a very serious condition, but they're making sort of a joke on it. Yeah. They're saying, yeah, you're taking something but it's not that important. Yeah, yeah. So this is how you travel lighter. In the dreaming is not trying to learn to do that as the dreamt, but by realizing the aspect of this event as dreaming and your role in it. Like you give everything all the meaning it has as an activity is a pretty profound statement. Yeah, I feel. Where did you hear that? Now, everyone, if you did something wrong to the person, that person would probably point out to you and give you a huge meaning about it. And the guilt would ensue and you'd feel terrible and shit like that. Yeah. But on a large scale, we are giving everything all the meaning it has, not as this. Some meaning is coming through this. Yeah. And when that meaning comes through, it can only take the size of the cookie cutter it's coming through, which is this identification as a body. So we get a certain set of meanings that are similar to every person. Yeah. And we're living at the effect of that. But in fact, we are the dreaming of this aspect, not the dreamt. We are the dreaming, and we are giving everything all the meaning it has. That's incredible to recognize. Yeah. Why? How is it going to be functional here? You're going to take things less serious in a sense. Yeah. You'll respond to something that's serious when it's serious. Yeah. And you'll see that a lot of the landscape you've been traveling through in your head is a lot of molehills made into mountains. And you'll see that perception can be distorted. So we had this thing they showed, they had a graph on how people in America, I think, feel it's going. Yeah. And they had a terrible opinion of it. And then they asked them for how ideally, how they would like to see it. And then they say, well, and then how it really is. Yeah. So they wanted, and basically they were completely in denial of how bad it was. And yet they believed their perception was true. There was no factualness at all. It was all based on perception. Yeah. If people think they're doing bad, it's like they're doing bad. And they may not be doing bad because that's obviously subjective. But in a sense, this whole thing is perceiving, and it can be altered and manufactured, and it can also be directed here. This is what media and all this shit does. They direct false perceptions because they have a bias that they were attempting to sort of amplify at the expense of something else. It's like subject, it's all duality, moving. So here we are, you are the dreaming. It does not say you are the dreamt. It's a very clear declaration that, and it's a negation of the where we're starting usually, which is we start as the dreamt, and we believe the dreamt is the one that's having a dream or is in a dream or is being done to by the dream. But we are not the dreamt. We are the dreaming. Yeah. In this dreaming, it seems like we're in the dreamt, but we are not of the dreamt. Yeah. Just like when you're in a dream at night, there's nothing else but that. That is the reality, yes? But obviously you're of the morning, so to speak. So when you realize what you're of, which is in the morning, you have relief from the in of being in that dream. What tiger that scared you in a dream was still scaring you like at 11 a.m.? If you woke up at 8:30, it was probably gone at 8:31. Yes, but you would have a hard time changing that effect in the dream. Yes, if the dream continued, the fear of the tiger would be well founded, and as long as the dream was going on, you would be thinking that's a rational decision to be super afraid of that. But you're not of it. You see, this is the beauty of the message. This message isn't about you're not in. It says you're not of. So what you're in, you're not of. You are of something else. Yeah. So the way to arrive at what we are, because we're there already in this little dream, we have to use the form of negation. So what needs to be negated is where we think we are, And by seeing that position as unreal, the reality of where we are becomes obvious. Yeah. Affirmation hasn't worked because the affirmation of, all right, we want to arrive in heaven. Yeah. But really, that affirming that you are from heaven as this is reinforcing this more than heaven. Yeah. But switching it around and just negating where you think you are, not affirming anything else, just negating where you think you are, you'll find yourself at where you have been looking for. You will find you are that which you're looking for. Yeah. You can find it seemingly through affirmations. People have been chanting fucking thousands of hours. Unfortunately or fortunately, the head is using the chant to imply a chanter. And that chanter is not what you're chanting for. That chanter is a thing. So all the chanting that I'm not a thing is reinforcing the idea of being a thing, because the only thing that doesn't want to be a thing is a thing. When I was chanting, I'm not a body, it was completely coming from the body identification, because I'm sick and tired of the body identification, and I don't want to be a body, but I want to be a body not being a body. It doesn't work, yeah? So I realized when I was chanting, I am not a body, I am free, for I am just as God created me. Very quickly, I realized the only thing that would chant that is a body identification. Something that isn't a body knows it's not a body. It doesn't have to chant. It's not something. It knows it's not something because it's being what it is. And in the being what it is, there's a knowledge that comes with it, and that knowledge is what you're not. Yes, the being of what you are comes with a knowledge here. Yeah, which is you get knowledge of being what you're not. You see what you're not by being what you are. Yes, that's the whole way it works. I don't, we've tried the affirming way. We have. Or I'm love, I'm I'm whatever, and then a fart ensues or something fucking, you gotta, like, my friend was giving us a profound thing at dinner once, and he had a piece of like green veggie on his tooth. So he looked like he didn't have one tooth. And then everyone just was laughing because he looked so weird. He looked like alfalfa from out the and we didn't tell him, and and he's profound talk, but everyone, it was so you can't get out of what you're not in. Yeah. You don't find the of in the in. There's a negation of the in that shows you're of something. Yes. There's a negation of the in that shows you are of. Yeah. There's not an in that leads to an of. It's another idea of the in. Yeah. There's a negation of the in, like he says, hey, you are in this world, but you're not of this world. So what would a teaching from that statement look like? You're in this world. Everyone sit there for a minute and come up with what is it to be in this world? All right. You drove here. So there's space, there's distance. There seems to be different people here. So there's definitely independent entities. Yeah. There's definitely separation. There's definitely time because you had to get here at 1 o'clock to get the premium seats and you weren't. And now you're sitting in the peanut gallery and all this and all that. And then you hit it with, and you're not of it. So see the identification of being in it, and then the message negates that. That's the beauty of non-duality. It shows the duality in all of its glory and then negates it. Yes? Not denies it, negates it. So feel like what it feels like to be in this world. It feels like I came, I don't remember. I don't. I was told a couple of years later, and then I'm going to go because it seems like that's the basic end of the game. It seems like I've had tons of conditions that change, go in and out. I have certain things that happened that left a scar for 40 years, and most shit I forgot in a second. Yeah, and all this and all that, and then greet it with, and you're not of it. Yes, this is what the whole message is. Yeah, feel what it's like to be you, and then you'll see you're not that you. Yeah, and the B is correct, but the you ain't. Yeah. So the B is what we're of, the U is thinking what we're in, and the U says it's the what you're in is the of. Yeah, which isn't true. Yeah. So we just question it, that's all. Watch your head. Something happens, there's a reaction. It's not you. Fantastic. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to. Did you ever feel like you didn't want to be a fraud and then you felt like one most of the time? You try not to be a fraud, but you really believe you already are. There's no way out of that. Once you're in, it just goes, yeah. But what would happen is you let it have its super fear of fraudness, let the fraud land, and you believe if it ever touched land, it would destroy me. You see it doesn't, and you realize it's not you. Yeah. And then instead of being the imaginary shore that's reacting to every wave, you'll be back up and you'll see the reaction to the waves of life aren't yours. Yeah. And now there's peace there. Here at the shore is dependent, its length, it's whatever. If you have a castle on it, it all depends on the water. Yeah. In this case, you move, you see life, it's happening, the mental reaction, and then you see that. And you greet life, and that reacts to it, you greet with, I'm not that. Yeah. And then what happens? Bing, you're right where you've never left, which is the awareness of everything. Yeah. And there's nothing that's aware of the awareness. Nothing. You can't, there's nothing like you that can be behind the camera. You are always in front of the camera. Yeah. So whatever arises to react to life isn't you. That's the great news. When is it going to tell you what's you? It's not. Yeah. That's going to be a mental mystery, an incomprehensible understanding, an unknowable fact, which is awesome because it frustrates the system. Yeah. And then the system cracks. And now there's a sense of interest and attention that's fucking up the ass of that system, finally comes out, maybe like a huge fart, so to speak, and then just atmospherically moves. You can never recognize it. Yeah. But now you're living from it. You see what you used to look from. I don't know, what more do you want? Yeah. You're relying on what's reliable, which is awareness. You're not relying on what's not reliable, which is the head. Yes. Your GPS is, I don't know, really. You're going to be moved anyway. Winds are blowing, things are happening. You're going to be moved, but you're not going to, oh, my estimated time of arrival. No, there's not going to be any insurance in that. You're just going to show up, suit up, and let go of the results. And there you go. Yeah. See what happens. And I bet you the results are going to be much different than the hoped for results that you were expecting or wanting or trying to control. And you may be happier being driven by this than by the head. Yeah. As it says, what does Ramana say? Just be. Yeah. Just be. At that point, just be. Yeah. Be still. That's what he says. The elixir for everything is be still. Because actually that's what you are. Be still. Yeah. At that point, it's not an order. You find yourself there. You find that you can enjoy peace of mind. You don't have to do so many gymnastics, and you don't have, I like settings. We just had some incense here because the dog smells and everything like that. But the energy of the root of this message isn't based on the setting out here. If it is, who are you meeting? You're meeting your God. You're not meeting God. God, where do you get the requirements that you need a certain incense and you need a certain this and that? It's all comes from us. And I'm telling you, we have made a God in our image. This idea that God is that's bullshit. God made us in its image. I don't think God made shit. We make a God in our image. So it can be a jealous God. It's like Santa Claus. You've been good or bad. It just sounds like our own head. So yeah, it's working. I'm here. I could give a shit about most stuff right now. Oh, I've gotten an opportunity of a lifetime. I haven't called back. 3 weeks. I completely forgot it. I always have to apologize to people. Sorry I'm late getting back to you. Uh, this isn't, it doesn't have to look any way, but it will look away. The relief will look away here. Not look away like this. It'll look, you'll see it in a certain way. It's not a path, it's just an expression. This is what happens with the head. You see some crazy character and you believe what they're doing was what brought them to where they are, but it's where they are that's expressing in what they're doing. No one's setting a path at all. Yeah. It's sort of like a firework. You're here and then it just blows the way it blows. And then if you try to, okay, he does blah, blah, he eats a lot of sugar. No, it has nothing to do with it. It's just an expression. Yeah. It doesn't have any chassis. It's not formed so it can go anywhere it wants. But you'll find a sense of peace that passeth your understanding. You'll realize how limited the mental logic is. You'll realize a lot without doing much. You just walk around and stuff gets revealed. Yeah. And I hopefully it'll allow you to realize you're completely here. Yeah. You're completely in every moment you're in. The moments when you're sleeping and there's an awareness of it, you're in there completely. You're here completely. You're constantly here. Yeah. There's no break. Now, the head sees it differently because the head looks like out of space and it makes a zoom square of it. Yeah. It puts everything in compartments and emphasizes some stuff, forgets other stuff. But this is really just the space. Yeah. Yeah. So it's hard to describe. There's no need for description of it. Yeah. What there is a need for, I humbly believe, is recognizing there's a mental activity that's quicker than all your mental activities. And that mental activity is the claiming of the conscious contact and writing a story about it before you as the character appears. Before you become aware of you, it has a story of you. And therefore, we think that's the beginning. It's like an origin story, but it isn't the beginning. Yeah. And that you're not going to get out of that as that. You're not. That is not going to see what's before it. It's not. It's limited. It has blindness. It's manufactured. It's mechanical. But you're not of that. Yeah. And if the interest and attention is lost in this little character of Paul, if there's a sufficient amount of loss of interest, the obviousness of what seems blind, that we're blind to, the obviousness is going to overwhelm you. It could be in a second, but that second will tell you it's always been this way, or it could be over time. But basically, you're on the winning side here. You're going to lose interest that is worthy to lose interest in, and you're going to gain interest. So now the interest and attention will be enriching your day instead of enslaving it to these old ideas. Yeah, yeah. So that's why it seems so foreign to believe at any moment you hate yourself. It just blows your mind. That people have a sense that they hate themselves, that they are their own worst enemy. You don't, that is like so foreign to you at these places where it's just mind-boggling. And you realize the mental activity has split us into two, in a sense. Yeah, you're the object and then you're the subject. And it looks like the subject hates the object a lot. Yeah. So people have a certain appearance as an object, and then that head hates that fucking appearance. Yes. And there's a thing where it seems like, from your limited view, that you hate yourself. How could there be two of you when there's none of you? But in duality, that's why this is non-duality. You want to negate both of them, the object of you and the subject of you. Yeah. Because the subject of you is ripping up the object quite a lot. Yes. I mean, it's insane. I mean, you wouldn't treat a fucking stranger the way you're treated in yourself. You have kids, you'll never get even close to the amount of interest and attention the head has directed at itself. I don't care if you have 13 kids, you'll still be thought about more. Yeah. So there is a solution. It's already so. That's the solution. Yeah. The thing to investigate, why doesn't it seem to be? Yeah. The statement is being ourselves reality. Why doesn't that seem to be? That's what needs to be questioned. What's holding up that story? What's holding up that BUT that you hear at so many talks? Everything is beautiful, but, yeah, what is that? It's not you. That's all you need to know. Just like if you were riding a horse and you weren't going anywhere, what information do you need? It's a dead horse. Yeah. You don't have, I was right. It's the horse was defeating my agenda. No, it's dead. Get up and get on something alive. Yeah. So being you is fucking dead in a certain respect. Now just be. Yeah. And then see what happens during the day. Yeah. So I should have read the other thing, but I figured I couldn't do it 3 weeks in a row. The but we have some new people here. I should lay it on them. I'm trying to find I'm not trying to find. I haven't looked at it. I found this little booklet, and that's all. The only reason why I found it. I found it in my drawer. It was ripped up. It had like 5 pages. 4 pages, I went, no. This one page, I went, yeah. And then that's what I've been reading. I'm going to read it again from Maria. Maria likes things that come out of ancient books. All right, so here you go. There is no greater mystery than this. Wow. When you have teachers and stuff, don't you expect them to know some things that are mysterious to you? Or why are you going there? Yeah. So here, there is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, let that sit in. Being is a present tense verb, yes? It didn't say we were the reality and we're hopefully going to be if we do this and do that. It's stating a fact, yeah, that doesn't need any reinforcement. Being ourselves, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. There is no greater mystery than this, that being the reality ourselves, we seek to gain reality. If you have a table and you have a cloth on it, the cloth is not the table. Though everything you put down on the table is actually put down on the cloth, but allows the cloth to be the cloth, it's the fucking table. Yeah? We are reality. Being ourselves reality. I don't care how many cloths you have and how many things you put on the cloth, it doesn't change the fact without the table, none of that shit would be happening. Being ourselves reality. Yeah. We seek to gain reality. Being ourselves reality, boom. And now this is beautiful. We see that which is seeking reality is in us. You want to reinforce a statement of truth? That's how it's reinforced. You reinforce the real by telling the truth about the unreal. That's how you become a reinforcer of the truth here instead of an active denial of the truth here. As the Course says, actively denying what you are, which would be what? Reality. Yes or no?
Yes.
If you read these two sentences, what are we actively denying? I'm this, a drug addict. No, that's child's play. All of that are just little expressions of the real denial, which is we are actively denying what we are. You're not, but the head is actually, yes? So there's an active denial of what you are, and then firm in faith that we are this something else the head has made to be ourselves. I've changed the language, but I like it better. So firm in faith in this something else. What could be that something else that the head has made to be yourself? What is that? The sense of being a long-lasting, independent, separate entity? Bingo, I win. Yeah, pretty close. Okay, so being ourselves reality, great, fantastic. Where do you find yourself? In Novato? When? See? Saturday? What's going on? I'm staring absently at people, listening to my dog bark at imaginary people. Yeah? That's being ourselves reality. We seek to gain reality. Oh. Which one would you want to look at? Being ourselves reality or the seeking to gain reality? I would say the seeking to gain reality. Because if you see what's seeking to gain reality, bingo, you see the unreal. Because reality is definitely not seeking reality. Most definitely not seeking reality. So that which can seek reality would only be something unreal. I don't care how much you've called it you or how little it called it you, it's unreal. It seems to be real to you, but it is unreal. Fantastic. Yeah. So being ourselves reality, we seek to gain reality. We think, obviously, that there is something binding our reality. Something is keeping the truth away from me. And therefore I have to become a spiritual warrior or jujitsu or fucking something, instead of just yield and just say, see what's saying that is not you. What's saying there's something that's blocking me from reality. Yeah, it's your head that's blocking the fucking movie. Yes, it's you. This you is an active denial of what you are. It's being used for that, that's for sure. All right. So we think that there is something binding our reality. Tell me what it is. We could go around the room. And that it must be destroyed. That's the only solution. Not being reality, the only solution for me to become reality, something must be destroyed. Yeah. Sounds like a logic. Before that reality is gained. So something's got to go before it's gained. Some people, it's thoughts. Hey, thoughts, yes? What is it for you? Check it out. You should ask yourself someday. What is it to you that you see as something has to be destroyed for reality to be available to you? What is that? What is that? And could you call it a requirement? So for reality to appear to be real to you, something has to be destroyed. Don't you see this is the greatest insurance plan of the head? It has reality as a thing that is the most apparent threat to you. Do you believe you're going to run to the spiritual path goal line? You're going to drag your feet for hundreds of years because in your head, reality is going to be revealed by your destruction. Fucking yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I want to have the right outfit when that day occurs. So because I'm going to still be there to watch it. It seems funny, but it's true. If you feel the logic, being ourselves reality, we seek to gain reality. Obviously, that's a cue. Watch that which is seeking to gain reality. It's not you, please. When you see it, don't just oh bud, bro. Oh no. Fucking ask for its papers. It's not you. Stop giving it carte blanche access to fucking everything. It's not you. How do you know that? Listen to the logic of non-duality. Being ourselves reality, if so any aspect that's around you, is called you, is near you, is about you, that seeking reality is not you, because you are reality. What? It's like a tape measure. You know, to all you out. That there is something binding our reality and that it must be destroyed before that reality is gained. It is ridiculous. So why not use that which is seeking reality to verify you already are reality by negating it? Why not? It's going to show up and something's going to use it. Why not? There's using it in this way. The head is going to use it to repeat itself over and over again. Yeah. It's going to, even one way, it will blame you for looking for reality. You shouldn't, you are reality. Why do you keep, it's like trying to fucking discipline an older dog. It's hard for them to get it. Yes, you're an old fucking seeker. You're not going to change your ways. You're just going to change the vehicle. Yes. That it must be destroyed before that reality is gained. Of course, there's no gaining reality, is there? How can you do that? You lose something else. You don't gain reality. There's no gain in reality about losing an unreal appearance. There's no gaining, but when there's a loss of the unreal appearance, a loss of interest, then reality seems to be obvious. Yes? Yes. It is ridiculous. A day will dawn when we will ourselves laugh at our own efforts. Wow. We could have a huge laugh fest for that. Write a little paragraph, honey, Rosalind, for next week. It's probably going to be longer. All your efforts. Write down all your efforts to become what you already are. And then we'll just have a little fire. We'll just burn them. And then we'll cook something on it so they have some use. We'll fucking do a sirloin steak. Burn by the using that energy that went to all that false efforting, at least to cook a piece of meat. So dawn when we will, oh, so it is ridiculous. A day will dawn when we will ourselves laugh at our own efforts. That which is on the day of laughter is also now. Yeah. So that was the one I've been using. But here's the clincher, honey. It is false to speak of realization, big R realization. What is there to realize? There is that something to realize, but it's probably not what you thought. Yeah. The real is as it is always. So there you go. You can't find any time exemption. The real is as it is on the day when I go to satsang. No, always, always. Yeah. Hey, honey, come on. How to realize it? How to realize it? We should ask some of the people here. How to realize it? All that is required. Wow. Wouldn't you, this would be important, wouldn't you? If you were sitting here and a very important deal was being made and you were waiting for the requirements, like getting Italian citizenry or something like that, and this is what you got, there would be a huge amount of relief, yeah? All that is required is this. We have realized the unreal. We were regarding the unreal as the real. So we regarded as real that which was unreal or is unreal. That's all. That's the correction. That's the great requirement. How hard is it going to make something that's unreal, unreal? Not hard at all. It's already unreal. Yeah. It's very hard to make something unreal to be real because it ain't. Yeah. So we're just going to recognize the fact already, which it's unreal, and that's the realization. That's all that's required. Yeah. Again, I'll read it again. I know you're looking at it. You're going through your requirement book. Yes. You feel like there's some exemptions and you're in special needs and special case like we all are. Yeah. But no, this is the dog shit awareness. Yeah. So here it is again. We have realized the unreal. How do you do that? Well, when life produces an experience, like consciousness is in contact, and then you are the buffer or the reaction to that, when that reactions occur, you see you're not that. And then see what happens. And if something else arises and says, oh, I am finally seeing when I'm not, you're not that. And that's that. It's not 40. It's just not two. Two movements, two mental movements. The reaction is pretty much automatic. Yeah. There's a negation of that. And then that which reacts to the reaction, which we call our subjective experience, is negated. That's it. Two, bing, like that. It's not 40. This is not non-100, non-80. It doesn't start with non-8 and then goes up to non-33. It's not two. So you observe something, yes? You have your first reaction. There's a reaction to what's going on, and then there's a reaction to that, which reacted usually, yes? So very quickly, the reaction to what's going on is objectified, and you become the subject going over it. You're neither of those. That's all you need to know. Yeah. A lot of people get triggered or fooled by the second reaction. They think that's the authentic them. So they see life triggering mechanical reaction, and they think the second one is where they have a lot of room for improvement and shit. I'm going to change, purify, get this. That second reaction is not you. Not you. This is what stumps a lot of people. They have a huge free sample, and then when the second reaction doesn't seem to have changed, which they were constantly living under the assumption it was them, they disqualify themselves from the obvious dog shit awareness that's readily available because they didn't see the change that they thought would amass or amount to a real realization. Yeah. Because they took, oh yeah, I do stupid things, but then the one that's observing that doesn't. It can stop doing those things. It can, yes. And that is always held by the head as the real you. Yeah, you're not that. You're not that. That's all. You're going to see this two-step dance. Why not just while you see it, instead of your consent has been given to it already. The default mechanism is consent. We want to sort of question that. And now you see, and there's a pause, and hey, I'm not that. And then see what starts to happen. Yeah. See, there will be results here. You will know the tree by its fruits. Yeah. Yes. So not two is just that. Okay. We're seemingly having an experience. It seems to be the initial experience is that which is having the experience, which is this. This thinks it's on a lot of rides and it likes to stop getting on certain rides and get on other rides. This is the ride. This is the ride. This is the first ride that says it goes to all the other rides and has choices to go to this ride, get off the ride. You don't seem to get out of this. This is the ride. So there's experience. This is the first contact. Yeah. Then very quickly thereafter, that contact is claimed, and then that thing starts going over what the claimed idea of you should or shouldn't have done. And then there off you go. Yeah. And you believe that if this could be all corrected, the objectified you as the sanctified self would be doing great. Yeah. As if you have no dirt on your own, it's all the objective you. Yeah. It's all bull, bull, bull. Most people never get to the second invitation. Yeah. So they're constantly doing tons of retreats and shit. And they're still flipped out because the action figure hasn't changed much. It's still worrying. And they obviously believe it's them worrying, but they're not. The action figure is anxious. That does not mean you're anxious. Yeah. So, that's how far it took me. It wasn't far. Like in AA, we have a statement, you got to be willing to go to any lengths. And most people's heads would mean miles and miles, but any means maybe no lengths. And really, being reality, you don't go to any lengths to being reality. You don't, because you are reality. Well, how do you believe a lot of people hold Nisargadatta on high regard? He said it was all faith in the guru's teaching. All faith, that's all. He didn't do shit. He just believed the person, he believed the message that was delivered to him. And that was sufficient. Based on what? Being already reality, all he needed was to see the unreal from the real, instead of taking the unreal as being real, to see the unreal as unreal. That's all that was necessary. There was no Armageddon Day. There was no the final, the third fight between the two, pay-per-views. None of this. It was just a simple recognition of what you're not. And because you are what you're looking for, the cathedral bells go right off. Yeah. They're ringing right now. You think they're suspended because of that. They're not. What you are is still always what you are. What you're not is always going to be what you're not. It has no effect on what you are unless you believe it can have an effect. So yes, this would be, hey, we're not going to, if you Zen bit slap, our holy books are going to be one page. This is it. We're going to send you this one page. Maybe we should do it. How are we going to sell a book with just one page? We'll have to make it gilded gold. You can get a copy of it from me. It's right here. This is it. All you need. Of course, people will probably read the second page first and the first second. It doesn't matter. Faith in what? Being ourselves reality. What that may produce, seeing what you're not, instead of greeting it as you all day. Yeah. That consent, that manufactured consent, can be withheld, and see what happens. You'll see the reaction from the head. Reality doesn't give a shit. Reality, the panoramic sees the myopic. It's not an adversary. There's nothing they need to become. The myopic cannot see the panoramic. It can't see it. So it makes up shit and wants to know everything, because most of the shit that it wants to know, it can't see. It has no idea of what's actually going on. So there you go. So yes, the Zen Bit Slap Bible will be out December 25th. You can start ordering it. You can have it bound or just on loose leaf. It'll be crumpled up in the, I'm gonna send you a pair of my pants. It'll be crumpled up in the back right side jean pocket. Yeah, there you go. Just carry this around, yes? Someone has a question here. I wonder what, I was wondering who it would be. Oh.
Well, that first movement, I find that now the head is saying, trying to say that it's the same head, it's the same movement, the same that whatever you see, it's not you. Whatever you see, like when it sees what arises, that conscious contact that you're talking about, then the head now is the same problem. It's saying, no, that's not you, that's not you. That's
Great,
not
then
you."
just say that head that keeps saying it's not you is not you. You see, it's not winning one side to the other. It's not like, oh, it used to say it's you, now it's saying not you. It's neither. It doesn't matter because it's the one idea of you that's going the two ways.
That whatever you look at, whatever it's not you.
I'm not
So-
saying
so
see
think
as an
of-
order. I'm saying see as your condition. You're aware. Awareness. We're not ordering the awareness to see something. We're presenting something in front of the awareness. It can easily see it. Well, this isn't an order I'm sending to, you say you need to see it. No, I'm saying, no, you want to see that which says it needs to see it, because there's no need to see it. There's seeing of it. Yeah. That which is blind has a need to see. But that which sees isn't afraid of this kind of blindness. No. Yeah. Yes. Of course it gets tricky. I used that example. I was in Australia in 2000 and non-duality was cooking in me, and the head was right there next to the divine chef, smelling it and seeing what it was going to use the meal for. And then it would try, like, I was with this lady and she was going out that night and she wanted me to do the dishes. When she came back home, the dishes weren't done. And she said, Paul, what about the dishes? Oh, there is no Paul. And she was like this. So I said, fuck you, Paul, do the dishes. And therefore I started to grow through my non-duality adolescence quickly. And it was very rewarding and valuable because I saw the mechanicalness of, if you're introduced to the most beautiful thing, it's the head is going to be claiming to be the one that got that message. Yes, this is the perfect if you want validation of the veracity of the message, just watch the head's reaction to it. Just watch the head's reaction to it. And what it will do. When I used to give talks, well, I still do at live. One time in Germany, when the head of someone is confronted with the idea they're not the doer, one of the first things they usually say, does that mean I'm going to lay on the couch all day or whatever? It's as if they've been the doer until they hear they're not the doer. And now suddenly they're going, no, you've never been the doer. There's been doing, but there is no doer thereof. Yes? Our dog now is going through something called phantom pregnancy. Yeah. It's not pregnant, but its nips are giving out milk, and she's carrying this, she's got it right now, this little non-existent thing, a little toy, as if it's a baby. She is, and she shows it to us every morning. Today, the thing she loves the most, now I have to change the hierarchy. The baby's number one now is to go play ball. I took her out. She had the baby with her. She gently put it down, ran after the ball once, decided to pick the baby up and go back in. I never saw this before. And here she is with the little baby. There is no baby. No big dog has screwed her. She has not been fornicated with. She's not, but for all intents and purposes, because she's driven, She's driven by this hormonal masquerade. She believes this thing's her baby. It's beautiful in a lot of ways. She's got the Madonna look, her eyes. She's moving very slowly. She's just, she made a nest. She was fucking with the blankets until she could, because she was getting ready to have the baby. It's just insane. What do you think we're any different, really? Watch someone who believes that they're going to be destitute with absolutely no evidence other than listening to the head. They're doing the same fucking thing. Yeah, their sweat, you know, like she's got milk coming out of the nipples. They got sweat and they're not doing any exercise. They're fucking super anxious and trying to control and manage. It's the same. Most of our conditions are imaginary at best. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Yeah. Are we sitting the dog down trying to convince her? No. Fucking, you know, yes. Haven't you tried to convince you to get on board and everything? It's pointless. What you took yourself to be is a manufactured event. Yeah. You are not the manufactured event. It doesn't mean the manufactured event doesn't have meaning. It does have meaning. This is dreaming. Meaning is being thrown around all the while. Might as well enjoy it if you can. But the fact is, she's not having a baby. This thing isn't a baby. It's yeah. This thing isn't a problem. No, it isn't. But it's my problem. No, thousands of people are confronted with the same shit during the day. Yeah. So, I swear, she looks like a Madonna now. She looks at me with the love of 1,000 puppies or something. Fucking wow. Jesus, it's incredible. Who let the dog in? I'm wondering. Who let the dog in? Because it's going to be an immaculate conception if anything happens, because I'm sure of that. So we may have the first fucking immaculately conceived flatback retriever. But for her, it's as if it's true. Yeah. Now, after seeing the inability to change that dramatically, couldn't you see it as art or something? Yes. Couldn't you see? I remember living like the head was CNN for 40 years. It was incredible when they turned into Comedy Central. It was like the Daily Show constantly. It was the same material, but was emphasized completely different. It works. Yeah. Who's going to fucking really amuse you? There's an art to this event. Yeah, I feel. Yeah, you can see so much beauty in it. And it evaporates. To me, true beauty evaporates for more beauty. Yeah, it's just, it doesn't galvanize and become a thing. It's just, you can't, there's not a net to be found that can catch these feelings or these senses. You can't. Yeah, they just move through. I was listening to it was really cool. They had a little clip on Neil Young, a famous musician who's written tons of incredible music, talking to this I think a night guy on TV. I think he got charged with fucking perverse shit. But this was years ago. And they were talking about how Bob Dylan, these incredible songs, and Neil Young's like rated up with Bob Dylan. And Neil Young says, I'm like absent. I feel I'm absent. Yeah. And there's no way you could own what's happening. It goes through. It goes through. And if you're willing to accept that, things will happen. Yes, it's beautiful. It's like beautiful satsang without even knowing it. Because this is really what it is. It's a stretch to try to describe when something moves that isn't a thing that we see here all the time. Yeah, it doesn't have weight or size or length or duration. It's something profound, but it can't be captured by any scales that are made here. Can't measure it. You can't put it in a box. You can't see the size of it. Yet it's really the essence of living, that everything evaporates into the huge atmosphere of ourselves, literally. Yeah. Yeah, and then the shit that can be put an account in and shown I have a 4,000 square house. Yes, that's all fine and dandy, but it's empty compared to what is constantly moving, because the true nature of it all is empty. Yeah. So it was amazing when he was just getting on the absentness of it. Says, I'm absent of Neil Young. Don't pin Neil Young on me. So this is the joy of satsang. Silently or verbally going off, you're trying to shout. What you're trying to shout to is where you're shouting from and shouting as. It's awesome. Yeah. Yeah. And it evaporates every day. Satsang doesn't build out like an IRS. You know, I've been to 35,000 satsangs. You know, they don't accumulate like dollar bills. You don't have Muji money and fucking IR whatever. You know, it doesn't. It's just like, and yet because of the mechanical programmed value of things, we can't capture or hold or ascertain the value of no thing. It can only be lived, you know, I feel. And it's not like you're going to have any in your pocket or any memento. It's all goes. Yeah. That's the joy of it in a sense. I mean, some of the most beautiful flowers, so we have these cactus. Twice in 7 years, it's bloomed. Huge, it's lasts for 1 day. 1 day, you would think, what a waste of the production to have a show every 4 years and last for 1 day. But it's unbelievable. It's incredible size. I don't think, and then next day, if you were busy doing other things, you would never have seen it. You'll see a stub of it because it shrinks up super fast. Yeah. Now, in your head, based on time and space in here, you would think that's not all that time, and the size of the thing and the punch only for a day seems like a weird equation, but it's really a lot of the great beauty is very ephemeral. It moves. You miss it, so to speak. Yeah. Yeah. So all this stuff is like a pointer that doesn't draw you to see the pointer. The pointer has a very small job to point. If you get caught up in the pointer, you're missing it. It's the gaze. It's the gaze. So what is the fucking guy pointing at? Yes. Not the fucking guy as the pointer, but what is he pointing at? You got that view. Yeah. Let it get pulled off of things and you'll see we Yeah. It's all interest. Your blindness is rooted in misspent interest and attention, literally. We have been seen as a thing, thought as a thing, held as a thing, live as a thing, have laws about the thing, and all like that. And you know, it's nice every once in a while to let that side door just swing open and get some no-thingness blowing through. Yeah, yeah. So there you go. Anyone who's running the show? It's Judy Levens.
Arlen has his hand up.
Arlen.
You have to unmute. Arlen, there you go.
Hi, I think I unmuted.
Yes.
So I have a quick question, basically, about the feeling of doing. I am an ER doc, and so that puts a lot of sort of societal expectations as well as expectations inside of myself and all of those type of things. In the moment, I really like emergency medicine because it allows for that space that you talk about, that like, hey, I have no idea what's going to come in through the door. It could be anything. As long as I'm open and aware during it, these things can happen, and that is wonderful. Very rarely do I feel like I get in my way at work, but I recently had basically a case that I felt both as if I was getting in my way, as well as the frustration that basically this patient was dying in front of me and I couldn't do the things that I thought I could do to help them. And I know that's just a thought. I know that's just the story that is told. It's just all of those type of things, but it was so strongly reiterated in sort of the moments with the family as well as the moments with all of the other, with the nurses, with the other docs who also tried to help this person. We all tried to help this person, and it's just this thing of going, I recognize truly that I am not the doer, but man, there seems to be a lot of people who think I'm the doer, as well as there's a part of me that feels this strong guilt, man. And I can sit with the guilt, sure, but I just don't know. It's just this doing thing that has finally got it. And sorry for one more little bit. The exact same time as this, I got into a little argument with my wife because I have two children, and I told one of them, she says, I'm super hot. And I said, all right, Miss Hot. And I was sort of teasing, and my wife really didn't like that I sort of said it the way that I said it. And it seems like a nothing, but I like took far more offense to that than I have at many, many things. And so I don't know. It's just this funny thing of the movement is causing more strife than I've had in years. And I don't know if you have anything you can say to those type of situations to where you are expected to be the doer, expected to basically not fail. And even little things like calling your daughter Miss Hot appears to be the failure, right? So that's
Yeah.
it. Thanks.
Yeah.
How do I mute myself? Sorry.
Left-hand corner.
Left-hand corner, it's the muter. Yeah, I don't have an experience being in that profound of a situation of a life or death thing, but you actually, in the situation, you did help. Because maybe it was time for the end of the doing to occur. Yeah. And so you're not doing it was part of the process of it ending. Yeah, he wasn't meant, maybe he wasn't, obviously he wasn't meant to be saved because he wasn't saved. So really had nothing to do with you in a lot of levels. But that, and here, if a lot of Romans look at you when you're in Rome, you feel like you got to do like the Romans do. And there you are playing a role, an exalted role, like it or not, because people are depending on you to be a super person to their family or the person that's there. And of course, there's going to be failures because this is the way this place is. I was in the hospital situation quite a lot. So, and the thing is, in the landscape of the head, mountains and molehills, there is no real distinction. A molehill one day can be a mountain, and then the mountain of being at a point of saving a person and seemingly failing can be a mountain. Yes, so Yeah, and of course you have other relations going on with your wife and kids that are sort of like a foundational thing that a lot of things bounce back from. So certain things said with someone else would have a different effect if it's said by a family member or something. Yeah. Just like people right now, a lot of people in recovery have trouble with holidays. And in recovery, we have a joke that the alcoholic trifecta is Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. If you cannot drink through these three things, the race gets easier for a while. Because there's dynamics going on with a lot of meaning given to a lot of things that we're not aware of. So you played your role in what was supposed to happen, obviously. Yeah, that's how I'd see it. And there's going to be a whole lot of doing, but there's never been a doer. That's all. Yeah, there's not a problem about you not being the doer. There is no doer. Yeah, yeah. So it seems like it's helped you a lot. And I know a lot of people who still have the spirit of being directed when they're directing hundreds of other people in a big business. So they can still have the sense of them being directed while they're the director seemingly of like 300 people working at a factory. So yeah, I appreciate the share and yeah. That's my friend, a good friend of ours is working in hospice now. So she's helping people transition, whatever. That's a certain seat assignment. Yeah. Yeah. So, but I don't have any real answer to say about it. I just, it isn't like you're not a doer, then you're a doer. It's more of an absoluteness. But in this world, obviously there's a lot of different value given to different doing. Just a lot of people who were spiritual seekers, they thought meditation was much more noble and important than doing the dishes. So there is a lot of different significance and a hierarchy of doership in this dreaming, but in the absoluteness of it, there is no doer. Yeah, yeah. So, and the thing, like you said, Arlen, you're there, I don't know, and then you respond to situation and you have some faith that you have the tools to be of help, and therefore you are. Yeah, that's the best. In this race, that's the best posture to take, I feel. That's the best physical posture you can get at the starting line is to be, I don't know. And because I've like in recovery, I don't have any thing to say to people. I just wait till I meet them and then I take the cue from the moment. Yeah. Yeah. And I've been relying on that for years and years. So I usually just take the cue to them from the moment and do the next thing. It could be seen as right or wrong, but some things that are seen wrong are seen to be right in time. Yeah. So you have no idea. Values shift here a lot, a lot. There isn't a gold standard in a way. Yeah. Things change quite often. So, all right. Thank you. As an action figure, I like the feeling of being led or directed. Yeah. I like the role of being a sail, not the wind. Yeah. It's worked for the action figure as a working way of life. I get the feeling of being the driven, not the driver. Yeah, that's a good position for me. Yeah. And in recovery, we have a great thing about being the driven. It isn't about two cars, it's about two drivers. So the driven is us, and the driver can either be the head or it can be the spirit, let's say. So you're going to be driven because that's your role here as a car, you're something that can be driver, a driven. So you're going to be driven, but what is it that's going to drive you? And in recovery, the contrast is so pronounced, it's easy to see because you were definitely, we have a statement, any life run on self-will can hardly be a success. Well, you have a feeling that something that was actually foreign to you was driving you, and now something that seems to be much more intimate with you is driving you. Yeah, but the fact here is you're going to be driven. Yeah, the action figure gets moved. So you get moved by the moment, you get moved by the emotions of the moment. I remember when I was in the hospital, I was in there for months, and the day they were taking me out, it was a very busy lobby. And they brought me down the stairs in a wheelchair. And I saw this guy that was sort of like left alone. He was laying on a gurney. No one was paying attention to him. And his head was lolling over the side. And him and eyes made contact. And I felt the sorrow of tons of stuff by looking at this guy, because I had been going through it myself, the loneliness of being in a 7-foot, 3-foot world for months. You know? And then I got out and I kept looking at him through the window, and it was very, had a lot of meaning. Just like a dog, she sees a dog, has a lot of meaning for her. It had a lot of meaning of, gave me a big shot of empathy that's lasted for quite a while. But yeah, you know, those moments in those situations that are life or death are, you know, usually the thing you fear the most when you're near it, there's no fear. You're just responding. Yeah. It's just response. So the fear is all in the anxiety is all in the buildup. When something really hits the fan, you're there, you're awake, like alert. Yeah. But I came out to me anyway, the story, we were in the bedroom, we have a glass sliding door, and there was a commotion, and the door swung open, and I jumped up. I thought someone was trying to get in. I said, "Get out of here." And I pushed Amelia. But I got a lot of credit in my own head, and I didn't hide behind the bed. I said, "No, get out of here." I was ready to go to war. It was not, the dog was she was letting the cat in. It had been out there for a while, wanted to come in. I saw her, it looked like someone was coming in. I'm fucking getting ready. My muscles, I felt so much adrenaline. I felt like Arnie Schwarzenegger. Yeah, it was good. So, all right. Well, thank you, Arlen. Thank you so much, really. Thanks for sharing it with us. Anyone else? No, I think we're gonna say goodbye soon. Let's say hello, yes.
What do you mean by seed assignment? Is it the same as action figure? This is channel.
Well,
Channel through you.
yeah, our friend wants to know what I mean by seed assignment, and is it like the action figure? No, the action figure has a seed assignment. Yeah, so the action figure, in most cases, you may think you have a purpose, but you're purposeful no matter what. Yeah, so the action figure has a seed assignment.
It's kind of like a destiny or a role.
Sort of like a moment-to-moment destiny as the action figure, a destiny that's going to be forgotten quickly.
You're not going to become an airplane pilot in this life. You know?
I would hope not, for your sake, really. I'll tell you if I do, so you can avoid that plane. She's saying if I became a plane pilot, yes, no. But so it's just the way of impersonalizing what's taken to be so personal. So we use the term action figure, and because I come from America, when you were a kid, they used to sell action figures, and you could get accessory. Yeah, so you get Batman, and you could get Robin or Joker and stuff like that. G.I. Joe, you get accessory. So we're action figures. Yeah, we are. And the action figure has a seed assignment or purpose. Though you may think you have a high purpose, low purpose, but you're purposeful no matter what. You're being used no matter what. Yeah, so seed assignment, action figure. is to give, not to have so much, it's not a profound bucket, you know, it's just the way things are. I believe most people, as people, do better with a purpose. Yeah, you ever see guys who were identified as their job and then they get retired and then they're fucking lost because that sense of purpose was giving them a little oomph to keep on going. Now they're so flatlined. Yeah. This is the action figure, health and maintenance. See, we think we read the manual for the body as the subject, but it's the manual for the body, really. This body needs purpose for most people, community, at least a modicum of community for most people. Yes, they need certain things to keep it running well. Yeah. So this, and we just try to put these terms out like impersonal because of all the personalness that's put in it all. You know what I mean? I'm a chosen one. This is my noble, you know, gets a little bit, you know, blown up. Yeah. So it's a way of keeping it small. Don't you? I think it works. Action figure. Action figure. It explains you pretty well. Yeah. Bowels are actions. Bowel movement, action. You're action all day. Yeah. And then you can make up a purpose. My purpose is to avoid you having the gotchi coffee and giving you an espresso coffee. So I can have more of the gotchi coffee. That's my purpose. No. All right. Anyone else? You hear that? It's just these, they don't have a profound meaning. They're just ways of
And personalizing.
yes, you know, yeah. It's like a car they just put the primer on. Yeah. So it's not so shiny or everything, just to see its mechanism, action figure and seat assignment, not like a throne for the seat assignment, you know, or tons of levers and controls. No, like a musical chair seat assignment. So the music comes on, you get up, and then you walk around, and then the music stops, and you land here. No matter how many times you land on the same chair, it doesn't make your chair. Teaching doesn't mean you're a teacher. It's just teaching. That's all it is. It's all teaching. And then you get up, and then, so you know what I mean? It's not like I created. No, it's just the roulette wheel went, the ball hit, you read 38, there you go. Yeah. Yeah. Anyone else?
Maggie Powell has her
Meeting
hand.
Tuesday?
Hey,
You have a couple. All right. Yes.
oh, it's Maggie. Sorry, my camera's not working on my phone. I've been called on since I cared for my mother for her last 5 years to 97, drinking and then sober towards the end. My friends all said, "You're a great caregiver." So when I was at UCSB as a student, I thought, I need work, I'm caregiving. So I've been called 3 times to do hospice. I mean, it was my seat assignment. The person started to fade. The person wanted to go home to die. That was the last one. And I realized in those situations, and I don't know if that's partly what Arlen was addressing, was that it's others' expectations, the family, the loved ones. The last one, they did not want him to go back to his apartment. Well, he left in an ambulance, you know, and spent a month at a care place, and he wanted to go home, whether he would live or die. And I promised him in June, I will get you home. And July went by, he gained weight at home. August wasn't so good. I was burned out. I got 2 other gals, and he started to decline. But the family is what I wanted to say. It's other people's expectations, the emotions, the needs. In all 3 situations, that was more difficult for me than addressing the needs and doing it with grace and ease and with all my skill. So yeah, other
Great.
people.
That was great. Thank you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would hope, but it's not a rote thing. If a person has a request, like he'd like to die or she'd like to die at the house, if it's possible, I think that's cool thing to do. Yeah, I mean, it's
Yes, and
about them. It's not about you, obviously. Yeah.
right. And so I had to negate the family in that case. But in all three cases, the larger part of my emotional work was to stay clean with the family's expectation and others' expectations, not just the client was simple. And maybe in the emergency room, it was simple. He was going to pass. But then there's there's the expectations of the others.
Yes. Well, I would, if I lived in this, if I had that kind of job, I'd make sure I cleaned off every day energetically. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
I
Do
w-
something like,
yes.
for me with massage, I learned the hard way. Well, and then I would always put my hands in cold water afterward if possible and stuff. Just disengage with something that will continue the engagement after you end something. There's other transactions going on energetically that you can pick up a lot of stuff, especially in jobs such as Arlen's and yours. Yes?
Definitely. I'm actually still cleansing. He passed November 5th, and I carried a lot more than I thought through that situation. So I'm in the desert again alone with my kitty. And thank you for that advice. Yes.
Yeah, I think it's important for, if you're in those situations, definitely, because obviously meaning is being given, and at life or death is a lot of meaning being thrown around. So I forgot to, that's nice. Thank you for bringing that. Arlen was probably dealing with the people's expectations for sure. Yeah. Yeah, it always flips me out like in movies when someone dies and the person's hanging over them, so you can't do this to me. Sort of like, fuck, that's a strange view. The person's dying as this, but it's seen from the living person's view, like, you can't do this to me. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I'm passing away.
Well, and rightfully and beautifully so, John requested a week before he passed to please be at a facility, a highly trained facility. And his family, only one of them said, I told you so. And he'd had all these beautiful months at home, so you can't know. And I was so proud of him. And yeah, so he had 42 years sober and right on. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Anyone else? Well, I'll start saying goodbye. We got a lot of desserts here for everybody. I'm looking at all of you. Someone sent me 100 tons of stuff. Yeah, and you're not leaving without some of it. Yeah, it's for the collective for sure. So John in Florida, always a pleasure, John. Yes. Yes. Axel, Germany, yep. Jim Elliott down in Sydney.
Yeah.
Chris in Olympia. Anja in Anja. Johannes, Mary Champagne. Yep. Vlad, Portugal. How are you, Vlad? All right? All's well? Oh, good. Everyone's saying hello here. David Bitterman. Yes. Miak. Miak is the one who lovingly sent us this incredible desserts.
Wow.
So, Mia, yes.
Thank you.
We have some incredible cookies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
All right. Mia, they're all saying thank you to you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mia.
Yes, they all said thank you to you. Keith, nice to see you. My dentist said thank you to me too. Yeah, it's good. Roman Mueller, nice to see you, my friend. Radiator time. Rico Cruz, a man of his word. Rick Rowe, Toronto. Annette. Tom, Amsterdam. Oh, another one. We got Brian, Alan Olson, John K. Graham, nice to see you, Graham. I can't call you on WhatsApp. It didn't work, but we'll talk. It's always a pleasure. Yeah. Stephen Mack, Zoe Banks. You're still in Japan, eh? Oh, great. Jamie and Barbara, Ilyan, nice to see you. I can go to the other page today, far out. Mika from Finland. We got Eric down in Vista. We got Saraswati. Yeah, nice to see you. I think I got everyone. Hey, thanks. Wonderful Saturday.
And he let us indoors. So nice.
Yeah, well, I let them indoors. They're all happy. They didn't want to have garage satsang, so I don't know. It's okay. All right. See you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
Paul.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Judy.
Paul.